Podcast. I am Casey Coggins, joined by Alvin Hebert.
What's up?
And Andrew Lira.
Yo.
Here we go again with another week, and this week is all about the NBA, with the NFL season under wraps. The NBA trade deadline just passed. NBA All-Star Weekend is this upcoming weekend, so there's plenty to talk about off the court.
And MLB free agency still just nothing.
Yeah, that's the way it kind of goes now. I was having a conversation, I forgot with who, about how it's become like the NBA has been like all about player empowerment now, whereas the MLB is the players have no power anymore. Like they thought they had started having power, and you saw the big contracts being shelled out to team or for people, and now they're just like, no, we can wait, we're good, we can wait, we can hold out, and we.
Yeah, like, I was telling my cousins that because it was like, man, they haven't signed yet. I was all like, well, JD Martinez didn't sign until like what, spring training?
Yeah.
So. And spring training starts next week, doesn't it?
But even his contract was only like $158 million.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 4 years, 158, which I mean is a lot of fucking money. But when you're talking about Bryce Harper and Manny Machado,
asking for $300.
Yeah,
this was Bryce Harper expecting 500 at one point.
It was supposed to be coming off of coming off of his MVP season.
Yeah.
And then having back-to-back a bad season after it, and then an all-right season this year. Like, he's only 25. Both players are only 25. So if you sign them to that, like, Cabrera, Albert Pujols deal where it's 10 years, $300 million, like, you're getting them for their entire prime. But Manny Machado carries baggage because of who he is and, like, the things he's done on a baseball field. As far as, this not hustling or sliding into somebody's legs on purpose, and kind of carries that is he actually a good teammate. And Bryce Harper has injury concerns, and he's been up and down as far as batting average goes and like his actual ability to hit. So it's just the MLB owners are like, why are we going to fork up this much money for one player when it's kind of proven that one player getting that much money doesn't win you a title?
And
like the only person who has a title that signed a $300 million contract was A-Rod. And that was because he played for the Yankees, and they had CC and Jeter and Mariano Rivera.
Steroids.
They were a really good team, and they could afford to just pay as much money for whoever they wanted. And
well, when you got the Rangers covering your tab.
Yeah, they rounded out their roster around a guy. Because they could still afford to pay the big names, the big money still, whereas you see teams now they're trying to avoid paying one guy a big money deal so that they can pay three guys medium money deals.
Who was the last one to get that big contract?
Giancarlo.
Was it Stanton?
Yeah, and he didn't prove to be
worth it
in Miami.
And Jeter said, "Come on over."
Oh,
well, Jeter said, "Jeter said, I got you."
He was on both sides of the deal. On one, the minority owner of the Marlins said
he was sitting on the wall helping him up and then helping him down.
Yeah. He flew him out of Miami and greeted him in New York. So that's just the reality. It's the same thing with the NFL. Like, the NBA is a completely different sport because it's five guys on the court at one time. So if one of those players is making a lot of money and is, let's say LeBron James, you have a much higher probability of winning than if you have one guy making a lot of money in NFL, let's say Matt Stafford or Matt Ryan or Aaron Rodgers
or OBJ
or Derek Carr. Like, just one guy doesn't get you 10 wins or a championship. Like, the recipe for majors in NFL is spread the money out. So I guess that can be enough on any other sport outside of the NBA. Because I do want to get onto these trades. So there weren't as many as I was thinking there might be, because I was thinking that the Grizzlies would find an offer for both Conley and Gasol that they liked, but they just got an offer for Gasol. But they traded Gasol. So the end of the Gasol era has come. They also traded. Let me see it. They also traded Garrett Temple and JaMychal Green to the Clippers for Avery Bradley. So now they have a solid backcourt with Conley and Bradley to pair alongside Jaren Jackson. So they still have. They have about probably the same talent of team. They were just trying to shed some cap and kind of get prepared for the future. The Gasol deal had him going to the Raptors. Oh, that's right, because the Grizzlies got back Valanciunas, DeLon Wright, C.J. Miles. So they shored up the bench with DeLon Wright and C.J. Miles on the wings, or guard position, and then they got their starting center in Valanciunas back in the Gasol deal. So I still think they're in about the same position that they were before this trade, but it prepares them for the future. Now on the Raptors side, before you got here, Alvin, me and Andrew were kind of spitballing about this trade. Because Andrew is unsure about it because of, like, how many minutes are you actually going to be able to give Marc Gasol?
I don't trust Marc Gasol right now. I mean,
so what is your take, Alvin?
Well, when I first heard the trade, I was like, that's good for the Raptors, right? You trade Valanciunas for Gasol, basically, and to me, that's an upgrade. Better rebounder, better defender at the rim, and he could score for you in multiple ways, right? Other than Valanciunas. But then I saw his age, and I was like, wow, he's really that old? He's like
33.
He's 34, yeah. Like, and I'm like, is that a piece that's going to convince Kawhi Leonard to stay for you? That somebody that's creeping out of their prime already, and probably like what you expect, like 2-3 good seasons out of him, serviceable seasons.
I say maybe
one. So I get all of that, and the is this going to keep Kawhi debate is the off the court one that I wasn't thinking about with this Raptors trade, which I don't think the Raptors are all too worried about it. Like, they traded for Kawhi anyways because they're like, let's go to the NBA Finals this year and let's try to win a title, because if we make it to the finals and show him like how far along we actually are right now, maybe he'll still re-sign, because anything short of the NBA Finals and he's out guaranteed. So I don't think that the future plans by trading for Gasol, trading Valanciunas to go up in age with the center is really going to weigh too heavily on the Kawhi staying or Kawhi leaving, because them trading for Gasol is we need to make it to the NBA Finals right now, because if we don't, then even if we didn't trade for Gasol and we were still set for the future with the younger player, he's still leaving because we're not good enough right now. But I'm with you on Gasol does everything better than Valanciunas. It's just he's not quite the rim runner that Valanciunas is. Valanciunas has,
Valanciunas is like, what, 26, 27?
He's still limited mobility. He's still a big lumbering giant. But passing wise, shooting wise, defense, like all of those things, Gasol's way better. And what I had told Andrew, my retort to him about it was, you don't need to play Gasol 35 minutes a game, and you don't need to. He's not going to be the main piece to winning a playoff series for you, like he would have been in Memphis. In Memphis, it was him and Conley, 1-2, like just depending on what the matchup is. But he was 1A or 1B as far as options go. In Toronto, he is just do your role. Kawhi's going to be able to score for us. Serge is going to be able to help us go small, so you don't need to be if teams go small, we don't need to be chasing like Draymond around the outside, or like we can try to pound teams with you, but you're not going to be the focal point of our team because the Raptors are so versatile. I'm worried about the depth now with them having to trade CJ Miles and DeLon Wright. And at the end of the day, what do y'all see the Raptors being able to do? Because it's going to come down, I think, to Kyle Lowry in the playoffs. So
I was just about to say that because you are expecting Marc Gasol to carry some kind of a load if one or both of them have a bad night in the playoffs, right? Because one, he could also shoot from three. He could spread the floor, and he can score. You know, he could get you to 30 points.
He needs to average 12.
Do you see this roster with him on it beating the Bucks?
I think the Bucks could play too many different lineups that could force them.
Because didn't the Bucks just make a trade too? Who
They
just
traded for Mirotic.
Yeah,
Nikolai.
that's a good pickup too.
Yeah, that was a good pickup, but I feel the same way about the Bucks that I do with the Raptors, except the Bucks actually have guards. Like
I think the Bucks added without subtracting.
I think the Bucks.
Yeah, see, they did a good job at that because what they subtracted were picks.
And Thon Maker.
Who wasn't playing anyways.
Yeah.
So they, and in the piece that they got back for Thon Maker, they packaged in the deal to get Mirotic. So they got rid of Jason Smith, 15th man, Stanley Johnson, who they just traded Thon Maker for, 4 second-round picks to get a 7-foot shooter. Like that's the whole thing is they got somebody who can take the role of Brook Lopez when Brook Lopez is off the floor.
Except with offensive game.
Yeah, there's still something.
He can shoot from three.
Brook Lopez is shooting pretty well from three.
He's shooting better. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's got better.
I mean, he's not Mirotic, who's like.
That's just the game now, though.
That's like a strength of his.
He's a bulk 3-point shooter, where Brook Lopez is like, I'm wide open, I'll take it.
I'm in the corner, fuck it.
But there's still something about the Bucks that I'm not quite sure of. Like, there's still
the fact that they haven't made it until now.
And there's still like they're gonna have to rely on Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe and Malcolm Brogdon and now Mirotic and like some of their other guys.
I think one of their biggest weaknesses was the fact that Giannis isn't the greatest shooter.
Yeah,
but what they're doing is they're surrounding him with shooters. So
right, which is what I actually think that the Lakers did a pretty good job with their trades, getting Mike Muscala from the Clippers, who's a 7-foot shooter, and then they got Reggie Bullock, who went to North Carolina.
Yes, you think they did a good job?
And yeah, I mean for what they had and what they got rid of,
I think that was just like petty trades like
Lakers got other problems.
Yeah.
Now. Lakers got other problems. Now.
But they traded. They realized what their weakness was.
They got to be coddled real quick.
And they strengthened their weakness.
You was about to trade me?
Their weakness was. I think that's going to get overblown, and that's already been overblown.
I mean, well, just talking about it as much as they are, it makes it overblown. But there is something to it. That's a big blow to anybody, especially these are all kids.
I mean, I just don't see those guys getting much playing time to make it.
I think the these are all kids works, and so it hurts in the short term. It hurts in the getting blown out against Indiana without Oladipo. Sense, but they're just going to be like, well, I guess this is a business anyways. So like,
I think it's going to be a wrap on the year.
I don't see.
But when you got your presidents of operations coming down to talk to you,
these kids. I mean, I hate calling them kids, but these guys.
They act like kids, though, man.
We're older than all of them.
Yeah, who has the most experience? Not including no Bron, no Rondo. Ingram with 3-4 years?
Yeah, NBA experience.
Yeah, exactly. But
Brandon Ingram. But
so it took them.
Kuzma's older.
It took LeBron getting there for them to teach them not to get up on your own weight if you hit the ground. Like, think about that. Brandon Ingram was in the league for 4 years before LeBron showed up and said, if you're down, stay down. Your brothers will pick you up.
Yeah.
That's just, I thought that's common sense.
No.
And that's why I'm saying these guys are kids.
It's funny because Chris Bosh was on the Bill Simmons podcast that got released today, and I was listening to that because I don't know if you've ever listened to Chris Bosh talk about like life in basketball, but he's very well thought. Like he's an intelligent basketball mind, and he understands life, which like having listened to him before. And kind of thinking about like where he went to high school and where he grew up in Dallas, I'm like, it's kind of like the LeBron situation where LeBron grew up where he did in the situation that he did, and he became this like versed. Like, he never.
But Nike got a hold of him early enough to where he knew
a little bit. Yeah.
You can't show up at 16 with the Hummer full of fucking shoes.
Bosh spent 2 years at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Or Georgia Tech, because Paul went to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the AAU kind of mindset that NBA players have now, where it's like, he was like, a player will play for a California team but live in Michigan, or play on a Texas team and live in Florida.
All these prep schools.
Like they just kind of go, they're like, we're going to be the best team this year, and then at the end of the year they're just going to go to a different team, and like they don't build that like the bond that you see the LeBrons and the Chris Pauls and the Bosh and Wades have.
Yeah, he talks about how there's no, what is it? Camaraderie between the teams. These guys will put their fucking AirPods in on the way to the bus. They don't talk to each other. They don't go out together.
AAU? Or he's talking about actual NBA?
No, he's talking about NBA players that grew up in the AAU system.
Yeah, he's and so it's.
To me, I felt like it made them softer, that system.
And that's what goes to show what's going on in fucking Boston.
Well, see, that's what this whole conversation between Simmons and Bosh was about. Was Bill Simmons is like, it just seems like everybody's unhappy. Like all these kids are unhappy in the NBA when they're playing basketball for a living and making millions of dollars and like at the top of their craft when they should be like loving life, and they just seem unhappy. And
it's like nothing's ever enough.
And so they talk about the Boston situation where it's like, your eighth man is Marcus Smart or Jaylen Brown or Terry Rozier. Like they're the most talented, deepest team in the league. Like, I have no problem saying that they are the most talented, top to bottom team in the league. Now, their top isn't quite as good as Golden State, but their top is, I think, more well-rounded than Philly, is just flat out better than Milwaukee and Toronto, and better than every other team in the West. But when they made the Eastern Conference Finals last year without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward, on the back of Rozier and Tatum and Horford and Jaylen Brown, like those young guys realized we don't need those veterans. Like we don't need Hayward or Kyrie. Like we can be the guys who are leading us to prominence. So they want to be the guy, and this is why I was talking a couple weeks ago. One of the previous podcasts we did, I was kind of talking shit about Brad Stevens and how like disappointed I am in the job that he's done. Because one, he didn't assign the roles. He didn't set the expectations before the season started, and so it seems like everybody's kind of one man for themselves. Like
in reality, is there a coach right now that could do that? I'm not talking Phil Jackson.
That could do what?
That could get that team.
Put them in their place, essentially.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's not a coach right now, but he would need to take over. But Pat Riley.
Yeah, I was like, no, Pat Riley, no.
But Pat Riley would be the guy.
Yeah, that's
either that or because with how like.
And he shouldn't even have to do that.
Yeah, with like it goes to the point that you were just talking about, which is why the tangent brought us here with the Lakers kids, and like why did it take LeBron to get there to like teach them that, hey, when your teammate falls, go and pick them up.
It's like a sense of brotherhood.
Yeah, like the Patty Mills syndrome.
Yeah.
Like he was the towel waver, and then he got playing time. Yeah. And then he got playing time, and then he was the picker upper.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I like the Golden State Warriors, because they big up everybody on their team.
Except for Draymond and KD.
And this goes right back. I mean, I was listening to this just a few hours ago, so it's still fresh because
I was talking about like the whole cheerleading thing. Like you see Steph Curry, like he's out there.
That's what Bill Simmons was talking about. Is like these guys. You have Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, all on the floor together, and you watch them play. And there was the picture that just got tweeted out where DeMarcus Cousins could pass it, and both Klay and Steph were wide open at the three, and they're both pointing at each other. And so the joke was they're pointing at each other because they know whoever gets the pass has to make the extra pass. Mm-hmm. So with Klay pointing to Steph, if Steph got the pass, he would just pass it to Klay, and vice versa. But like they just play such a beautiful game, and it's never about, all right, I need to get 22 shots and you need to get 18 and he needs to get 6.
But a lot of that's coming from the fact that they've been playing together for what, 9 years?
Yeah. Steph and Klay and Draymond have been playing together since 2011. So I think this is their 8th year together. Maybe 2011, 12. I think it was the 11-12 season when Draymond got drafted.
But they have that type of chemistry that the Spurs had. That name any fucking who else?
Like you could say even like Jordan, Robin, and Pippen. Like
they
had that
the
spoken
Heatles,
like on
the
the
Heatles had the same kind of words. Like LeBron would pass it to Wade, who would pass it to Bosh, who would pass it to Shane Battier, who would pass it to LeBron, who would hit Mike Miller for a 3, or like they knew that everybody can touch the ball. Like it's not about.
But they like essentially came up together. They went through the ups and the downs. It was a struggle for them to get there, and now they're fucking here.
That's why Steve Kerr was such getting rid of Mark Jackson, getting Steve Kerr was such a big deal, because Mark Jackson taught them how to be pros.
Yeah,
he taught them how to play for each other, and he taught them how to play defense, team defense. Like Steph individually isn't a great defender. Steph in a team defense concept is a tremendous defender. And then Steve Kerr came in, and he was, with his shooting prowess and the wisdom that he got from playing for both Phil and Pop, was, all right, well, if y'all just pass the ball enough, you're going to just generate open shots. Like, you're just going to create open shots by making one extra pass. And, like, he opened up the playbook pretty much. He said, Steph, you can shoot the ball from 35 feet. Shoot the ball from 35 feet. You don't need to step in. Like, if you're feeling it, like, let it go.
Let it rip.
So he opened it up, and they became that team of like selfless, like, because they know that if they play that way, they're going to still score 120 points.
So are we only allowed one tangent per podcast episode?
I didn't know how it started.
Yeah. We started talking about the Lakers
and the fact that they don't...
And team basketball.
They just forked in all kinds of different rows.
Man.
I mean, it all stayed in the same same pocket where it was team basketball. And
It wasn't intended to go that deep.
Yeah, it went way.
I didn't know how that got brought up. Oh, calling them kids.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah,
I mean, they still are.
They are.
Just for that little example right there was enough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I still liked what they did because Zubac and Beasley, they're just empty roster spots.
Man, I hate Zubats.
I know. Like,
Zubac?
Fucking weak ass Pokemon.
always walking through the cave. Give me something good, Zubac.
Then
God damn
hits
it.
you with the supersonic and you're just confused for 5 fucking moves.
It's the worst.
So I did like them getting Muscala and Reggie Bullock. I mean, we'll see how it all comes together because
I don't see them.
they needed shooters. So they needed shooters. Like, they were playing Luke from Kansas, and he's an all right shooter, but we all know with a LeBron team, it's like, yeah, they have the young pieces, and it's about the future is what he was saying. Like, I'm not worried about winning this year, but he also needed guys. He needed some role players that knew the NBA, had been in the NBA, that were already like who they were. Like, Luke was still a project. Zubac was still a project. But Muscala and Bullock, they are who they are now.
How worried are the young guys in LA with All-Star break coming up?
Kuzma, he was just interviewed about everything, and he was like, yeah, I mean, it kind of, like, the trade talks definitely hurt.
And then especially with LeBron saying that tampering doesn't count on All-Star break and picking nothing but free agents or coming soon to be free agents.
I don't think that they're going to be worried about it. I think that's why I brought it up as being like overblown eventually, just because these guys are professional basketball players, and at one point, like, LeBron will tell Luke, like, hey, the trade rumors got to Brandon Ingram. He's not going to be any good for us right now. Like,
trade him.
We need right. We need to play Muscala instead of Ingram. When, like, that's just how it's going to be. He's not going to be like part of a successful team if, like, and I just use him as an example.
No, yeah.
But if you'll be able to see where the issues are,
because especially right now with how big, trade deadline, that whole fucking tumbleweed rolled, and we're still catching the ends of it. And now we got a spotlight in Charlotte with the All-Star game, LeBron picking his team. So coincidence that
6 people have player options.
Yes. And even when called out by Giannis about tampering, he says tampering doesn't count in All-Star break. These kids are going to be at home watching TV.
Not all of them. Kyle Kuzma's going to be in Charlotte.
He's going to witness it firsthand.
Lonzo's going to be in Charlotte too.
Yeah, he's supposed to. Well, he's injured, so he's not going to do anything. But he might go there to partake in the festivities.
Lonzo's going to look at Braun talking to Kyrie like, bro, really?
I see.
Right in front of me?
Ex-girl? You go talk to your ex-girl right in front of me?
I think Lonzo, from everything I've listened to him say and just watching him do, I think he would even be like, yeah, you right. Go talk to Kyrie. He's better than I am. But if it was LeVar,
LeBron's like, hold up, we ain't going to Boston.
Not New Orleans.
I think it's kind of a media hype thing.
Oh, of course.
But maybe that's just me. It's
a media hype, but this is also a team that's based in the media, in the middle of media.
Yeah,
everything.
Thinking.
That's what happens when you got LeBron James on your team.
Yeah, maybe it's just me thinking these guys are professional basketball players and their job is to play basketball and win as many games. Like, it's going to do them no good playing poorly.
Yeah, you're looking at like the best case scenario for them.
Yeah, so it's
to their reactions.
Yeah, I think Kuzma's going to get over it because he's kind of
he already dropped 39 points yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Ingram is going to be the one that I'm really going to be looking at how he reacts the rest of the season, because with LeBron going down and them playing so bad without him, when they were like the 3 seed when he went down, like they were rolling,
4.
they were,
and now they're what, 10?
Yeah. And teams got better.
Yeah,
I mean. 2 games out of AC, but yeah.
Because
story of the West.
Let's get back on the trade thing, because so that can transition to the Kings, because they're right now, I believe, in the 9 spot, and they're 2 games above them, and they traded Scal Labissiere for Caleb Swanigan, which is kind of a role player for role player, and I think that was just getting a roster spot, like that position open, because they traded Zach Randolph and Justin Jackson for Harrison Barnes. So now you have a proven veteran small forward to pair with De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley and Willie Cauley-Stein and all the guys that they have, because they've been playing some amazing basketball. Harry Giles is healthy and he's looking like a good off-the-bench player. So I think that Harrison Barnes, I think it could put them into the playoffs because of how Buddy Hield's playing, and like that team is like they're the Brooklyn Nets of the West, just more talented than the Brooklyn Nets.
They're half a game out right now,
but they're too young to know better. That's kind of the thing, is like they're too young to know that there are other teams. Like that's why they play so damn well against the Spurs, because teams in the past have gone against the Spurs and like, oh shit, it's Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony and the Spurs system, and they kind of would wilt. And now like the Kings are the type of team like the early days Thunder with Harden and Westbrook and Durant, where they were just young and athletic and they can just out athletic teams. So I think Harrison Barnes getting somebody who they can go to down the stretch of games does nothing but help them.
The Knicks have only won 10 games all year?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're bad.
Damn.
They're not good.
Cleveland and Philly,
and
Cleveland and Phoenix have won 11.
I forgot about that the Kings were in a 3-team trade, and they got Alec Burks too.
From Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Yeah, so they got a backup scoring shooting guard.
Is Kevin Love coming back?
If I'm the Cavs, no.
Oh no, he did come back, didn't he? But he only played like 10 minutes.
I know he was close to coming back, but so another trade we had was the Wizards trading Otto Porter
6 minutes
for Jabari Parker and Bobby Portis, which I think
that was a steal.
I think that was a weird trade.
It was, but a steal,
because it seems like Washington, instead of giving money to Otto Porter, they're going to keep Trevor Ariza instead of using that asset to try to tank and become better for the future. If Jabari Parker stays healthy the rest of his career, the combination of Portis and Parker is definitely good to build off of. So I think that's a wait and see, but I think for the Bulls that was a great trade. the Heat and the Suns traded players with each other, but those don't matter. The next trade that we can talk about is the where is it at?
The Shump trade.
Yeah, the Rockets got Shumpert, who was the backup shooting guard in Sacramento. I actually think he might have started. I think he was technically the starting small forward for them. And I think that was a great trade for Houston because they didn't really get rid of anybody.
Except for Ennis?
Yeah, they traded him, but James Ennis. But Shumpert does what they needed. Because the reason they were so good last year was because they could actually play some defense. They had some defensive players.
Ariza.
They had Trevor Ariza, and Iman Shumpert is kind of a more athletic Trevor Ariza at this moment. He's just, I don't know if I trust him offensively enough, but when James Harden is doing what he's doing offensively, really you just need to worry about shutting the other team down.
Yeah, don't worry about a young buck.
You hold the other team under 110, and I think James Harden can get you 50. But the next trade I was going to bring up was the Markelle Fultz trade.
That's another steal.
So, the number one pick of last year, a team that the Sixers traded up to get instead of taking Jason Tatum, they traded to get Markelle Fultz, and we all know the story about him.
They broke his shot.
And so they did what teams should do, but tend to not do, which is cut bait early. Like, it didn't work out. Cut bait now, and maybe get something that you can build off of.
Get some fucking value.
And they did. They got Jonathan Simmons, who we as Spurs fans know how vital he was in some games, some playoff games, and how good of a role player he was. They get him, so they get at least somebody who can actually be on the court.
Yeah.
And then they also got back a first-round pick, which I believe is top 20 protected.
And a second.
And then it would convey into 2 seconds. And then they also got a second. So they either got a first and a second or 3 second picks. And the Magic, they get a point guard of the future. The Orlando Magic have always had a great training staff. So if they can figure things out and get Fultz to where he was supposed to be, I think it's a great trade on both sides because Orlando wasn't quite there yet. They're another year or two away, so they get Fultz with his rookie deal the rest of this year, all of next year, and the year after, to try to get him right. So I thought that deal was really good. We talked about the Mirotic deal because the Bucks traded Thonmaker, and that's really it. A second-round pick. The Pelicans get Jason Smith, Stanley Johnson, Denver's second-round pick, Washington's 2020 and 21 second-round picks, and Milwaukee's 2020 second-round pick, and Milwaukee gets a 7-foot small forward, essentially, that is, a top 15 shooter in the league. So I wanted y'all to put down what your favorite trade out of all these, like, what was the trade that you saw and was like, that team just made the best trade of the season? Alvin, we can start with your trade.
My trade, I think it's both. I think it's good for both sides. The Sixers and Clippers, the Tobias Harris trade. I think it's very good for the Clippers because they're definitely not trying to make it to the playoffs. They're trying to, I guess, essentially tank the season, the rest of the season. And then the Sixers, they get another shooter on the floor that could score, that could guard, that could rebound. And Clippers, they're just building up assets for come summertime because they already said they're looking at Kawhi Leonard and KD. Those are the two tops on their list. And with all those draft picks that they accumulated from that trade alone.
The picks they got, none of them are this year. They get a first next year, and then they get a first from Miami's first in 2021, which Wade retiring, and I think Whiteside's going to probably end up leaving, and
they traded that guard to
Tyler Johnson.
Yeah,
I mean, they needed to get rid of him. That was a bad contract. That was a contract that they probably shouldn't have done, but it was signed when the cap got kind of high, and they were like, well, shit, who are we going to spend this money on? So Miami might be a top 10 pick in 2 years. So yeah, that pick is, and then 2 second-round picks. The Clippers are definitely, they're Bostoning right now.
Yeah, that's what they're definitely trying to do. And you already know Doc Rivers, Danny Ainge. So he's probably taking a page out of his playbook. And, I mean, you got Jerry West there, too. So you already know Jerry West knows what he's doing in the front office.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Andrew, you had the same trade, right?
Yeah. Bills between that and the Bucks Mirotic trade. I thought that was a good pickup. I thought, like we were talking about earlier, the Bucks, one of their biggest weaknesses was the fact that Giannis can't shoot the ball. And so a better way than to give him a big man who can shoot from anywhere.
Yeah. I think with Chris Middleton, Malcolm Brogdon, Mirotic, Giannis, and pick a fifth, Bledsoe. Like, you can run a 1-5 pick and roll with Giannis and Bledsoe and let Brogdon, Middleton, and Mirotic just stand around the outside and just let Bledsoe and Giannis create havoc. But so my take on the Sixers was I just don't know what they're going to look like. I mean, we know how I feel about Jimmy Butler by now. I think that he's a terrible teammate, and as you put it, and Andrew earlier, he needs to put away his ego.
Yeah.
Because with this team, he is going to be the biggest asset. Because he's the only guy out of Tobias, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, T.J. McConnell, J.J. Redick. Like, he's the only guy who can guard guys like Kyrie, and I'm not sure if he can even do that. They don't have anybody who can guard point guards. They have size, yeah, but Kawhi Leonard, who's arguably the best on-ball defender in the league, he had issues guarding Steph and Kyrie and at times Russell Westbrook. Like, those guys they'll just run screen and rolls all day with their point guard and let them loose. So I just don't know how it's going to work. Now on the other end, if you run a 5 out there of J.J. Redick, like their starting 5, their shortest guy is J.J. Redick. So defensively, like, there's no mismatch, because that's what the Warriors can do so well, is they just run screens all over the place and just wait until there's one mismatch. And their mismatch right now is perimeter, where, like, the Spurs, we watch the Spurs play the Warriors, and they run a screen and roll, and now all of a sudden Klay Thompson's being guarded by Patty Mills. So they just post Klay Thompson up, post Sean Livingston up, post Kevin Durant up, and they just do that, creates double teams, and we just talked about how well they move the ball, that they get open shots because they can just post somebody up on a mismatch like that. So they don't get that anymore against the Sixers. But I'm still unsure about how it's all going to work, because you're having 4 guys. The only one that I'm not really worried, I'm not worried about Tobias Harris, and I'm not worried about Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons already is just he's a tall Rajon Rondo. All he's worried about is passing and rebounding and creating the best opportunities. And Tobias Harris, he has that chip on the shoulder, like, all I want to do is play basketball and win. So he will have no problem putting his ego to the side. But Joel Embiid thinks that everybody guarding him is a mismatch. Jimmy Butler thinks that he's always a mismatch. So it's like, how is it going to work out? My favorite trade, though, is the Fultz trade, because the Sixers do get Jonathan Simmons, who is a quality backup shooting guard. He can handle the ball. He's 6'6" and athletic, and kind of still fits that role, because you look at some of the other teams in the East and they can run out a lineup of all 6'6" and taller players and still be athletic enough to outrun you. And Fultz gets a fresh start. The Magic get to try to tinker with him and get him to the Fultz that all the draft scouts thought that he was going to be. The reason he got taken number 1. He can do a lot of things on the court. He just needs the shoulder and mind and the shot to kind of come with him. And so it was a good, it's, as they put it, a low risk, high reward. Like, if it doesn't work out, they traded a role player and picks that I don't think were even theirs. I'll have to double check. Yeah, they traded one of their second round picks. So, and if it does work out for them, they get a 20-year-old 6'8" point guard. So I think that's why that one is my favorite. Let's move on. This weekend is All-Star Weekend. I was looking at the slam dunk contest, and that was really the thing that stuck out to me, is that this year's slam dunk contest is, let me pull it up, Dennis Smith Jr., Miles Bridges, John Collins, and Hamidou Diallo. They're all young guys that can be explosive. Dennis Smith Jr. is definitely explosive. We've seen what he can do. But it's almost like the home run derby and the MLB or the Pro Bowl and NFL is they need to figure something out, because the slam dunk contest just doesn't have the excitement anymore. They need to figure out a way to get star players in it. They need to figure out a way where the 4 guys in the slam dunk contest are Giannis and Westbrook and 2 other guys. Like at least get 2 superstar players in there, and maybe two rookies or 2 guys that are known to be dunkers like they've had in the past. But you have to get some sort of star power there. You have to get some sort of rule modification to make it exciting. What are y'all's thoughts on the slam dunk contest? Do y'all share that sentiment that they kind of need to either just abolish it or adjust it?
Slam dunk contest is a hit or miss, really. Every year it's going to be... I think it relies on making all your dunks.
Yeah.
The best dunk contests are the ones that nobody misses anything.
But still do things that are spectacular.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way. Like, without the star quality, like Zach LaVine made his name in the dunk contest.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon, same way.
Made his name in the contest. Like, you could find those special guys, but I feel like you are missing star quality in the slam dunk contest, because the stars are not wanting to join. Like, back in the day, man, you had Jason Richardson, Vince Carter, and homeboy from the Rockets, Stevie franchise going at it in one slam dunk contest. You know, like where is that?
Dwight Howard was in it, and
Andre Iguodala.
Yeah,
like come on, man, like I miss those days really, because like that was when slam dunk contest was like a must see.
Yeah, it got to I feel like it was like 2000. It was Nate Robinson's second year where he won it, where it was just kind of, it was the year I think Dwight wasn't in it, because Dwight won it, and that was kind of like the last, like, oh man, that was like a fucking awesome slam dunk contest.
Well, the Blake Griffin one too.
But see, I think the Blake Griffin one was
just because he fucking jumped over a car.
But he didn't even jump over the top of the car. He jumped over the hood at an angle.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I can't do that, but I'm also not 6'10" with a 40-inch vertical. Like
Kobe jumped over the whole car.
Not in a slam dunk contest though.
No, but still. He did.
All right.
But like,
he jumped over a pool too, full of snakes.
That,
full of black
but the Blake Griffin one was like everybody kind of knew he was going to win it, even though I don't think he was he had the best dunks in that competition. And like Kenny Smith was his coach. That like they tried that rule where they had a slam dunk coach, and he tried to hype it up with the gospel.
I feel like Blake Griffin was like more like the power dunkers that I used to see back in the day. Like the Sean Kemp.
Because I'm pretty sure the year Blake Griffin won it was the year that JaVale McGee brought out an extra hoop and dunked on 2 hoops
at the same
time, just showing how like lengthy he is. But I'm like, that takes a lot of coordination, and like that's a hard fucking dunk. And like JaVale McGee had some brilliant dunks. He's just 7'1" and like long arms, so it doesn't even look like he's really doing anything.
I'm not gonna comment on bum ass JaVale.
Shaq, we'll leave that for Shaq and the Fool.
But yeah, like the year that Iguodala won it was the same year that Gerald Green did the blow out the cupcake dunk. If y'all remember that dunk, which is like one of my all-time favorite slam dunk contest dunks. Like Gerald Green put on a show. Like those guys had innovation and like they did things just completely out of the box.
They put thought into it.
Yeah, and it's like I think that there has been some of that. I mean, the Aaron Gordon Zach LaVine dunk contest was the best dunk contest of the last like 15 years. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just they either need to have guys like that, which I don't think they have this year, or they need to have stars. They need to have it like just make it to where it's like, look, we need 2 top 30 players in the league in a dunk contest. Like, just give us that. Give us like, I mean, I was just throwing out Giannis and Russell Westbrook because I think those guys could do dunks that would kind of blow your mind. Like
Giannis especially?
I kind of don't want to see Giannis in it just because he's too lanky and tall. Like, those guys never look good when they're in a slam dunk contest.
It depends on what he does.
And,
but, like, Russell Westbrook has, like, everything that made Dominique special in a dunk contest. Like, what made Jason Richardson special was, like, he can jump from under the basket, but he just jumps so high, so quickly, and he's so explosive that it's just all of a sudden he's dunking the ball, and it's just so quick and powerful and kind of that shock factor.
I remember it was another Steve franchise and Jason Richardson slam dunk contest, and they were actually measuring their vertical on how high they was getting for their dunks. Like, you don't see that
one of the things that I wish they would bring back that I think that I liked when they did it was the wheel of dunks.
Oh, where they had
because this is one of the
Jason that they had to try.
Yeah, this is one of the Jason Richardson contest wins where they spun a wheel and whatever it landed on was the type of dunk they needed to do. And like at least there's some like they haven't thought this dunk through, like they have to just go for it. And like even if it's like, hey, one try, you miss it.
Didn't somebody get the D Brown one, the no look?
Yeah. So I think they need to do something because everything else is overtaking it. Like the slam dunk contest is now like
The 3-point contest is more exciting.
right.
Yeah.
The dunk contest to me is like right above the celebrity game and the All-Star game, because the All-Star game is kind of whack too.
Yeah.
It's here, have an open three. Here, have an open dunk. At least, well, that's how it was before last year. Like,
Yeah.
and before they kind of raised the stakes.
Because they didn't want Steph laying on the ground again. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Stand up and get dunked.
But like the rising stars, you get to see some of these young, the first, second year guys do things that they might not normally be able to do in a game, and become role players that are young now become star players in this game. The skills challenge, I love that they did littles versus bigs. They did guards versus like backcourt versus front court type things. And like this year, I'm really looking forward to the skills challenge. I kind of wish they would make the obstacle course different, like and harder.
Like fucking American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, something like that. Like you have to like
Instead of the bounce pass, you got to do it behind the back bounce pass.
yeah. You have to throw this pass off-handed. Like if you're a lefty, throw it right-handed.
That Michael Jordan and Larry Bird Carl Jr. commercial.
Well, not. I mean, so to me,
Raptors,
it's not like make it harder. Like
That white chocolate elbow pass.
Like, it's like they just have to go down and back. Like make him go down, back, and back. Like make him go a full court 3 times. Like make them.
Hey, I would love to see that though.
Make him run suicides.
Make it because it's like it goes. The commercials are longer than the actual challenge itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's why I love the 3-point contest. Not just because I always wanted to be in the 3-point contest, because I knew I was never going to be a dunker. But like,
make it rain.
Everybody's round lasts a minute, and they get 30 shots, and so you get 25 shots, up to 30 points. So you get to see Steph shoot the ball 25 times in a minute. You get to see these guys and you have 8 guys doing it. I don't know if they do it like college does it. I think they do 1 at a time. College does it 2 at a time on each side of the court. Well, 1 at a time on each side. So, but like that's why I think the 3-point contest is the most exciting part of the All-Star weekend. So with that, is there anything that you're particularly looking forward to at this All-Star game, other than the tampering?
The tampering.
Just the tampering.
But we don't even get to see the tampering. Like, they need to have LeBron wearing a body cam the entire time.
At least a mic. Mic.
Yeah. They need.
You look good doing that in the purple and gold.
That'd be hilarious if, like, during the All-Star game.
I made you this jersey. Try it out.
During the game, he's dribbling the ball, and Anthony Davis is going for an alley-oop. It's like, I'm only throwing this pass to you if you sign with the Lakers.
All day.
So let's make our predictions for All-Star Weekend, and we'll just kind of go in order of events. Rising Star Challenge, Team USA versus the world. I like both teams.
You like both? How do you like USA's team over the world?
Because I really like Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, I got the US team.
That's one player. Like the world, Lauri Markkanen, you got Luka Doncic, you got Ben Simmons.
See,
OG.
I think
the world is too stacked.
They're good, but I think that they have Luka and Ben, and everybody else is.
What? Don't tell me Lauri. You gonna downplay Lauri?
I think he's not as good as Jason Tatum or Jaren Jackson or Marvin Bagley.
He just put up 30 points the other day.
Marvin Bagley just put up like 26 and 14 on the Spurs.
That was a blowout.
Who did Laurie put up 30 on?
I forgot who they played.
Probably Phoenix.
It could have been
some
a
shitty team like that.
Or was it the Nets? I forgot who they played.
But Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Jaren Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, Kyle Kuzma, Marvin Bagley. Like, I think the U.S. team has a very well-rounded team. So I have the U.S. You have the world, Alvin. I take it.
I'm taking the world because
Andrew have the U.S. I knew Andrew was going to pick the U.S. It didn't even matter who was on the U.S. team.
Goddamn right. America first.
So then skills challenge is next. So that's going to be. Scroll back up to it. Mike Conley, Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, the two Nicolas, Jokic and Vucevic, Kyle Kuzma, Jason Tatum, and Trae Young. Alvin, who do you have?
I think that one's like a two-man race right there. I was kind of leaning towards De'Aaron Fox, but I want to say Luka.
Yeah, I think Luka's.
Who's De'Aaron Fox?
De'Aaron.
I don't know why y'all jump on me about my.
I'm just not familiar with Darian.
He's probably not familiar with it either.
Oh man,
Andrew, who do you have?
I got Luka.
Y'all both have Luka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about going Luka, but I think he's going to have to make a shot, and I don't necessarily trust him shooting. I'm going with Trae Young.
What?
I think Trae Young's faster. I think they're probably equally good at passing, because I think Trae Young's passing ability is a little underrated, and he's just a better shooter. Like, if they face each other, it's going to come down, I think, to that three-point shot, and I think Trae Young's going to get it off quicker and make it. So,
okay.
I also just wanted to go with somebody who y'all didn't pick. I think it's kind of boring if we were all like, Luka.
Yeah,
Luka. Laurie put up 31 against the Brooklyn Nets.
It was the Nets, all right.
So now the three-point contest. That one, I think, has a very interesting field. Devin Booker, who I believe has won it in the past.
He won last year, I think.
Did he win it last year?
It was against Clay, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Steph Curry, Danny Green, Joe Harris, Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kemba Walker. So I think they did a really good job about having quality shooting role players and quality shooting star players. I mean,
and then Dirk.
Yeah,
Larry Bird.
Dirk can't shoot that fast.
Dirk was an interesting choice. And I think we brought it up where it's like we feel like Dirk shouldn't have been in it, since they were like, he's going to be an honorary all-star because he's not going to play next year, and he's kind of riding out into the sunset, and they should have gone like, I mean, I wanted to see Bertans in it.
Well, they're paying him as the Larry Bird in this three-point contest right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of going out on the high note.
Yeah, go out on the high note. Yep.
So, Andrew, who's your three-point contest winner?
At first I was going with Book, but I mean it's tough. I don't think Steph's gonna win it. I like Seth taking out Steph.
See, that was when I was looking at it. I didn't want to pick Steph because I'm like, Steph has nothing to strive for. But then I'm like, but he doesn't want to lose to his little brother. Like, what big brother ever wants to lose anything to their little brother? So it's like, he has something to strive for, and I'm like...
And he's always made it to, like, the final rounds, right?
Yeah, I could see him just having a perfect rack. Like, a perfect round, just because, like, he's like, I just can't lose. I can't lose to Seth.
And then there's also Dame.
Yeah.
Who was like, I can't lose to Steph anymore.
Yeah, he's fucking tired. I don't think Danny Green has a chance.
With these, like, I hate
But-
picking big names because it's always the small names that.
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back and win it.
Well, I mean, Clay
Not
and
always.
Steph have won it.
Yeah, but when Devin
and
Booker won it, everybody's like, "Oh,
I picked him last year, I believe.
oh, you did."
Yeah, because it was his time. He's a next star player. He's the guy who dropped 70 on the Celtics.
And then like I was scared to pick Campbell Walker because it's in Charlotte and like
I don't trust
Yeah.
him.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, I was.
And then it's gonna be like somebody like Joe Harris that's wins it. You're like, who the fuck?
Yeah, so I'm between Book and Seth.
Well, you got to pick one right now.
I'm gonna go.
You want to go Seth? I know you.
I do. I want to go Seth.
You want the little bro?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seth. Alvin, your pick.
I'm going against my whole talk about picking big names, but I think it's gonna be Dame Dollar. I just feel like he's just gonna. He wants to like beat Steph Curry and show that he's a good.
What if he never makes it to Steph Curry?
I mean,
That's why I said. That's why I said I'm going against my rule about picking the big name, but I think he's going.
He's gonna lose to Dirk.
for me, I was like kind of what we just discussed about. It's like, well, who has things to like actually strive for and winning this, and really, I think everybody does other than like Danny Green. I think Danny Green's like, if he wins it, everybody's gonna be like, yeah, whatever.
But Joe
Danny
Harris
Green's just
too.
happy to be there.
But like Joe Harris too. Like
Joe
what does he
but
have? I
Joe
don't
Harris
even know
has
who he is.
he has to put on
Yeah,
for the white
like-
guys in the NBA.
I was like, it's a diversity hire.
He actually
I kind of wanted to go to Kemba Walker because
Joe Harris, I believe, leads the league in 3-point shooting percentage.
See, I don't even know. Can't tell you.
Yeah,
But he
Never heard of him till now.
I don't follow guys named Joe Harris.
he
It's a football name.
I kind of want to lead to Kemba Walker just because he's known for big time, even
Yeah,
in Charlotte.
he's always
I just feel like he wants to put on a show for the crowd.
But yeah, so I was kind of like, well, like fuck, I don't see Steph losing because Seth is going to be a competition there. But the one thing that kind of stuck to me is I kind of think Dirk is going to win it. Like
The Larry Bird.
I know how. Well, I know he's won it in the past.
Yeah.
They're all gonna be fadeaways.
I know he doesn't jump to shoot. Like he has a very easy release. He's doesn't put much into his shot. Like it's natural for him to do this, and he has something to play for. He has a reason to win this.
The last hurrah.
Go out as the 3-point contest winner.
Go out like Larry Bird.
He's gonna retire in the middle of the season. All right, cool. Now
At the end of All-Star break,
This
after
is
the
the highlight of
All-Star
my
game.
ear.
Imagine he does pull the Larry Bird and go 30 on the racks. Like, dang.
Yeah. So I have Dirk as the 3-point contest winner. I don't know if it's because I just want to see him win, or if I actually think he's going to win.
I think this is a typical Casey pick.
The agent of chaos pick.
Yeah, this is a typical Casey pick.
He curved the bullet again.
Yeah.
So now dunk contest. We kind of just talked about who's in it and how it kind of seems like I'm not really looking forward to the dunk contest, and yet Saturday night I'm going to be watching the dunk contest. Alvin, who do you have winning?
Dennis Smith Jr.
Just because he's the shortest guy and the most explosive out of them.
Yeah.
You can relate.
Andrew,
I like short guys that slam dunk contests.
For the same reason that Alvin went with Kemba for the 3-point, I'm going with Miles Bridges.
I was thinking
I think he wants to put a show on for.
Bridges also. That dude's a monster.
Yeah, see, I picked Miles Bridges because he's not John Collins, who's 6'10". He has that kind of compact, like, athletic build that wins dunk contests.
Yeah.
Where he's super explosive and powerful dunker. So, and as a rookie, this is going to be the only. He's not in the Rising Star competition, so he's He was the last lottery pick in the draft this year. Like, I'm sure he's like, I need to put on for myself, and it's just a bonus that it's in the city that he plays in.
Yeah.
So I see Bridges. I do think it's going to be a Bridges Dennis Smith Jr. final though.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So because I don't know what John Collins is going to bring. He's springy. He's that lengthy that you just talked about. Alvin with Giannis is like he's just lengthy. So
I want to see a front flip dunk.
They will need a trampoline to do
Wasn't
that.
Trampoline.
Wasn't there a front flip dunk in like one of the NBA games, the NBA Live games?
I think it was NBA Street.
Yeah. No, I think no.
NBA Jam.
NBA Live actually
NBA
had
Live.
like where if you press like the certain buttons in a specific way, you could try to do.
You have to time it right too, the right distance and stuff, because or else if he'll just jumps up and he'll just like hang there, and then just come back down.
Oh my god! Oh, that's some NBA Jam.
Not in game. It was they had an NBA dunk contest like part of the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Where
so
you could just do slap dunk contests against friends. And stuff.
you could do behind the backs,
off the backboards,
Yeah.
off the shot clock.
Yeah, it was
and
cool.
do the front flip like that. It was nuts.
All right, so now on to
I was about to blow the dust off and go
the big game.
3-up. Yeah.
Let's play.
Team LeBron versus Team Giannis.
This is stupid.
Yeah, that's anything.
The game that means everything and nothing at the same time. Who do y'all have winning the All-Star game?
As hard as Giannis is gonna play, Team LeBron's gonna win.
Yeah, Team LeBron.
See, I have Team Giannis.
What?
So
I think Giannis is gonna be the only one that cares about winning.
have you seen Team Giannis's team? Because it's just a bunch of dudes who don't like losing at anything.
Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook and Embiid. So he has D'Angelo Russell, who's in his first All-Star game. Kimba, who's at home. Paul George, who has to show that he's still the guy. Steph, who I'm sure doesn't want to lose again. Kyle Lowry and Dirk are... Those are the guys that I'm really like, what are they going to do? But I think that Team Giannis has more to prove as far as players go. Like, individual players have more to prove. Because Team LeBron is more talented, but all those guys they don't have anything to prove. They've been to the top of the mountain. They're
Man, he got James Harden, KD, AD, Clay, Kyrie,
Kawhi. I think the weakest part of that roster is James Harden.
Because he can't play. Well,
Really?
not even going to play.
not Bradley Beal,
No.
not Dwayne Wade.
No.
Yeah, he picked Dwayne Wade just out of respect for his. That's my friend.
That's my friend.
He's my.
Well, I thought they don't pick the reserves.
Yeah, they picked the.
Did they pick the reserves too?
Yeah, they picked the rosters, like the whole rosters.
The only thing that I give Giannis' team is his coach is going to be coaching that team.
NBA.com did misspell LaMarcus's name. They spelled it L-E,
It's
like LeBron.
Les Mercus.
But his is L-A.
LaMarcus.
La. Yeah. Come on, NBA.com. Get better.
Terrible.
Do better. But yeah, I think just like with like the Team US and Trae Young and like all of my picks other than Miles Bridges, like it's the guys who the tryhards, they're going to.
I do give you that because it reminds me of the East team that had Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury on there on the same time, and they just like went off against the East versus West like.
Well, the East won, I think, like a few in a row.
Well, no, I was talking about the year it was Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, and they was on the East squad, and they was showing that they wanted to win the game.
Yeah.
And so Russell Westbrook, I see that in him.
Yeah.
I hope it turns out that way, but I'm just like, bro.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Embiid winning the All-Star Game MVP. Like, putting up, like, 35 and 25. Like, doing something stupid with, like, 15 blocks. So, I have Giannis and y'all have LeBron, which is weird. I feel like this is role reversal because like I've been writing for LeBron and the Lakers all year. But I guess it's not the Lakers, so. So now on to On Fire and Dire and Prophecies. My fire is the Cleveland Browns. And I did say that this comes with an asterisk.
I forgot to write out a prophecy.
I'll come up with one really quick.
I'll throw in a tangent for a second time.
Right.
No, can't do it.
Don't do it.
So the reason I say the Cleveland Browns with an asterisk is they signed Kareem Hunt, and he's going through the investigation and everything, and like the video and what he did was terrible, and I don't condone what he did, but if everything plays out, and I do believe in second chances, and like
well, it was a 1 year, $1 million deal.
You should be able to like forgive somebody, and it's fool me twice, or fool me once, fool me twice, and like you don't fool me a third time kind of deal. So if everything works out, if he goes through the proper steps, if he does the Mike Vick like way to rehabilitation kind of thing, they get to combine him with Nick Chubb in the backfield, with Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry and Njoku, and try to find another receiver. And who's their little speedy receiver? Hawkins? Do they have Hawkins? Is that his name? He was a rookie this year too. But I just it's a good risk.
If you're Ray Rice, are you salty as fuck right now?
Not now. Not now, because Ray Rice wouldn't be good enough to play in the league now.
No, not now, but I mean, like, would you be...
I don't think Ray Rice is ever as good as Kareem Hunt is.
Antonio Callaway, that's the little speedster receiver. But I just think that the Browns, because they have the GM that drafted him, that if everything works out for the best, them signing and taking the chance now to try to make things better 6 months from now was just a worthy risk, and I hope that people can like forgive Kareem Hunt as long as he shows the fortitude to like there's a better word that I'm trying to come up with, just he shows that he's worthy of forgiveness. So that's why I put them there. Alvin, who's on fire for you?
My fire is Sergio Aguero. Man City played Chelsea today.
Smack that ass
6-0. And Aguero had a hat trick. Also breaking the record for having the most goals with 160 for, I think it was just for Man City though. I don't think it was for Premier League. It probably is, but
for a season or for like his career?
No, it's his career.
Oh, that has to just be Man City because they haven't had a very great history.
Yeah, but I mean, to do that, 160 goals for one team, and plus the hat trick. I mean, it wasn't a game, but
what's Messi at with Barcelona now?
Oh man, I should have looked that up.
Oh, I'm looking it up now. But yeah, that game yesterday between Man City and Chelsea was just...
It was like what? It was like 6 minutes in when they got the first goal. It was like 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, they scored three in the first, 4 in the first 25 minutes. Or something ridiculous.
It was something
like
retarded,
that.
and I was just like, wow. And like Chelsea's always been like a top team, and then They just go and have a game like that. My homeboy at work is gonna be pissed off.
So at Barcelona, he scored 404 goals
With Barcelona
with
alone?
Barcelona from 2004 until now. 404.
See, that's just crazy.
He has had 65 international goals. So, for the main national team, he had 14 for the U20s, 2 with the U23s. He also had 5 goals for Barcelona C and 6 goals for Barcelona B. So yeah, he's
Very
been quite
talented.
the goal scorer.
Very talented.
Andrew, who's on fire for you?
I got the AAF new football league.
American as fuck league.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it called?
American
the
Alliance or
Alliance. All right, yeah.
yeah, Football Alliance America. Those 3 words are in play. They brought in good numbers, good TV numbers this weekend, and
The Alliance of American Football.
I was watching a little bit of that San Antonio and San Diego game.
I was
man.
not.
they brought in
We
some
were
good
catching
numbers.
up on shows.
And if you're watching it, you saw there's plenty of butts in the seats.
Yeah.
28,000 was the attendance.
Those in the Alamo Dome?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Alamo Dome.
I mean, which is like half, like I think less than half of what the Alamo Dome can hold.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything upper level.
Yeah, but I mean it's
It's a hell of a start.
Yeah, it's AAF.
What? This AAF, is this just like the
So it's
Canadian league, or is
it's-
this like actual
no,
minor league?
it's regular football. So it's Charlie Ebersol, the son of Dick Ebersol, who helped Vince McMahon create the XFL. So Charlie Ebersol decided that he was going to come up with this league right around the same time, I think, that Vince McMahon said he was going to bring out another XFL.
Mm-hmm.
Got it done and regulated pretty much quicker. Got teams to sign on. But there was somebody else who helped get Ebersol going. Bill Polian.
Oh,
So Bill Polian and Charlie Ebersol got the AAF all started, and they did. I think they did a pretty good job about it. And yeah, it's as I was explaining it to April, it's like it's it's young players who weren't quite ready for the NFL, trying to show that they're NFL quality players, and it's guys who are older, who are past their NFL prime and like out of the NFL, who want to show that they can still play football and at least kind of like prolong a career. So they definitely had a good start to this league, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it quickly grow after the season. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
it was. They had tryouts here and everything. It's quite the deal, which leads me to my and Dyer. Who's in Dyer for me is the NBA, and I say that because just last week I believe we were talking about the NBA becoming the most popular sport in the country. Yeah, there's no way that that's ever going to fucking happen. Because of what we just said with the AAF.
They were beating out fucking NBA ratings.
Yeah, they beat out the marquee Saturday night ratings. Like they brought in, like we said, 28,000 people to go watch a minor league football game. Well, technically professional. But guys that you might never see in the NFL. They had more support for this than the arena football team that we had. So, yeah, my Dyer is the NBA just because of they were trying so hard to be in a position to overtake the NFL in popularity. And that's just never going to happen until football is like abolished for good.
Until it
It's
turns
just-
into a flag football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And even then, I don't know because look how popular 7-on-7 got. It's the NBA. You're going to be number 2 for the rest of your life. Alvin, you're in Dyer.
My entire goes to. Actually, it's a collective of some major sports teams that's in a pretty much slump or roller coaster ride. Lakers, Celtics, they're going through their ups and downs, and putting on my nerd hat. TSM for esports, League of Legends, going 0-2 this past weekend, dropping to 2-4 now in their season, and not starting out too high. I mean, like, they're making good plays, but
no, we don't
they're
need to say that just because you follow e-leagues like that makes you a nerd. We need to get away from that. We need to get away from.
Gotta get rid of the stigma.
Oh, because now there's official esports.
Yes.
Okay.
Not now, just in general. Like, just because you're a gamer, that doesn't make you a nerd.
Nerd swag.
I mean,
Oh man.
just being a nerd makes you a nerd. Just
Is it disrespectful for actual nerds?
I don't know.
No, I don't know what a nerd is.
I mean, technically, I was a
Yeah,
nerd
what
in my
is a
friend
nerd?
group growing up because we were all athletes, and I was the only one that was getting good grades.
Yeah, that was me back in high school. Just because I did my homework and the teachers never hated me.
I was
They thought
fucking
a
playing
nerd.
Jack and Dexter.
Teachers always hated me.
Oh, I got to the point where teachers hated me, that's for sure. Andrew, who's in Dyer for you?
My Dyer, talking about the Lakers, I've got Magic Johnson about to get hit with another tampering fucking case, man.
The co-owner,
Ben
the
Simmons?
co-owner of the Bucks just got hit with a
I
fine
saw that
for
too,
tampering.
yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, but yeah, in regards to that Ben Simmons deal.
No, I think
Elton Brand came out and said, "Nah, I shut that shit down."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, nah, that shit ain't flying here, dog. But yeah, man, Magic's playing with fire. He got hit with one already.
Yeah, he's not. I think it kind of sucks for Magic Johnson because, like, we know how charismatic he is, and he just wants to talk basketball with people, and he is, a top 10 player of all time that, like, guys like Ben Simmons want to
Pick his brain.
Like, that's what this was all about. Like, I think Ben Simmons even came out, like, he just wanted to talk about being a tall point guard. Like, he just wanted some, like... But on the NBA front, like, yeah, that's tampering because this dude is going to try to sign you.
He's in a bad position.
Yeah, so it's like... It's shitty.
It's not like going to Hakeem Olajuwon.
It's shitty for Magic because he just wants to talk to these guys and, like... But he also wants to talk to these guys.
He has a hidden agenda. Yeah.
Come here, man. Let me talk to you real quick.
How
you think I've been in line this
It's
long?
not like oh yeah, we could talk, but I'm gonna go fly over to Philly and talk to you. It's like, nah, come to my home in LA.
Come check out our
this
facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Magic needs to check himself before he wrecks his checkbook. I mean, not like he's hurting for money. Dude signed the largest contract in history when he signed it. That 25-year, $25 million deal. Well, do you have a prophecy now, Andrew?
Yes, I do.
What is it? Enlighten us.
My prophecy is in regards to the All-Star game. I see it breaking 400 points.
Oh jeez.
If it didn't do it already, it's not going to.
We talking about adding 4 points mark.
Yeah, 4-point shots. Oh no, that's a celebrity game, I think.
Oh, that's
Celebrity game has the 4-point shots.
Yeah.
I thought it was for.
This is gonna be the year 400. Watch.
They're gonna put in that 4-point mark, and then it'll for sure hit
Yeah,
that 400.
then I'll say it will, but we'll see.
I mean, even just with this scoring spike that we've seen this season.
Yeah, nobody playing defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Have we had a game this season break 300?
The Spurs Lakers or Spurs Thunder's double OT game,
Yeah.
like 152, 148, and I think it hit 300 on the mark.
That's what those numbers equal.
Hey, mathematicians.
154, 147.
Oh, 301.
Hey, 1 over.
Yeah.
Carry
So,
over,
I mean-
carry over to 1.
I mean, if a regular season game can break 300, All-Star game.
Yeah, they're definitely not gonna play no D.
Yeah.
Was that just one OT? That was two. Yeah, two OTs. Google said one OT. I was like, I don't think it was just one.
You lying, Google.
Alvin, prophesize.
My prophecy, I see Bryce Harper the first name to sign by this weekend. And it will be with the Giants.
Oh yeah, because they just snuck in.
I was leaning towards the Padres, but they offered him more with less years, so I think.
What I think would be funny is if Bryce Harper signed with the Marlins.
Hey, New York, I got another one for you.
Just because they traded Giancarlo, who's on that $300 million deal and plays the same position. They're like, we'll bring the younger, better one.
So you could just put Giancarlo in
like
DH.
Jeter screwed the Yankees by giving him Giancarlo so that he could sign Bryce Harper with Miami.
The master plan is unfolding.
Did I not call Anthony Davis not fucking moving though?
I was saying he wasn't going to move either.
Yeah, I don't think
I said he ain't moving. You're like, oh, he's gonna move. I said, he ain't moving.
Well, I said if he moved, it wasn't to the Lakers.
Nah, I didn't think. I knew he was gonna move at all.
No,
How sad is that? They take you out from the intro, and then it's like, all right, you want to play ball? All right, we'll put you in.
I guess.
And you get booed.
I do like the way that they tried to spin that one. Well, we took him out so that he didn't have to sit through, and it was to make it not awkward. Like, no, it was going to be awkward with him in or out.
Yeah.
So my prophecy is Champions League, round of 16 starting.
Oh, yes.
PSG at Man U tomorrow. I have PSG winning on the road 2-0.
Mbappe show? Mbappe.
I mean, it's always the Mbappe.
I think Neymar's not playing.
I don't think Neymar's playing.
He had surgery. I think.
Yeah. But I just think PSG's too stacked, and I kind of see them making it to at least the semis.
Man, did you hear the midfielder Ramsey got signed by Juventus and is paid more than Paul Pogba?
Yeah, I saw that.
How is that even possible?
So that's my prophecy, and that wraps up this episode of the Benchwarmers podcast. Anything else that y'all want to get off y'all's chest about the NBA or other sports?
Nah.
All right. I am Casey Coggins, and as always, I am joined by Alvin Hebert.
Making sure we keep it one tangent episode.
And Andrew Lara.
See ya.
That tangent just happened, so